Yep.
Everybody recording?
Yeah.
Okay. Gabby, you're gonna do the intro on 3. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Hi, welcome back. This is Stars on Mic. I'm Elton Aguilera, and today I have
Rachel Spector, Director of Programs at the Children's Trust.
So we're at the Children's Trust. We've had this one circled for a while. Thank you for taking the time to meet with us today. We're in the Trust building. This is an amazing place. We have a lot of questions and stuff we want to dive into about the Trust, how it helps the families of South Florida, and especially our special needs community of South Florida. So can you tell me a little background about the Children's Trust, how it started, and where we are today with it?
Sure. So the Children's Trust is a dedicated source of revenue established by voter referendum to improve the lives of children and families. That's what we do. We partner with the community to fund strategic investments to support all children and families in our community. We were voted by Miami-Dade residents back in September of 2002. And last year in 2023, we celebrated our 20-year anniversary of funding, in our community. Today, we invest over $200 million a year in services directly to improve the lives of children and families. That includes direct services, advocacy efforts, parenting programs, and we're constantly checking in with the community to ensure that our investments are in fact impacting the greatest needs of the times, because as you can imagine, over 20 years, needs shift in the community.
Very cool. That's incredible. 20 years of serving the community. For our special needs community, what are some of the more prominent, bigger programs that just come up to the top of your head that you guys have invested in?
Sure. So first, I just would like to share that all of our programs and initiative areas include children with disabilities. We're very careful that our program is inclusive, and we invest close to $40 million annually for across service areas that support children with disabilities. And so a couple areas that I think are worth highlighting is our after school and summer camp programs, which is our largest investment at the Children's Trust. Our programs are required at a minimum to include 15% of the population they serve, children with special needs. And that could mean any child is welcome in our program.
Inclusion,
yeah. And we also, more than just inclusion, we really want to ensure that our programs have the funds and the expertise to accommodate the needs of all children when they're coming to the program. So it's not about checking a box, it's about ensuring that children are welcome in our programs and they're served according to their needs.
Yes.
To that end, we also fund an organization called Advocacy Network for Disabilities, and they are available to provide supports to students that participate in our programs. So I could give you a generic example. If a child that maybe uses a wheelchair comes to one of our after school programs and that program doesn't have a ramp, let's say, they would be able to provide funding to that organization to build a ramp. Right? We're not going to turn away a child because we do the absolute best to make accommodations. Of course, if it's out of our hands, right, then we would support the family in finding another program. But we also fund programs within the youth development portfolio. We also fund programs that specifically focus on children with special needs, such as Easter Seals, UCP, those types of programs. And then for the younger kids, the 0 to 5 population, who typically receive school year services through Miami-Dade County Public Schools, we serve those children during the summer to ensure that when they're no longer receiving services during the school year, there's not a gap for children and families during the summertime.
Oh, that's incredible news. Tell me more about the Advocacy Network for Disabilities.
So we funded a couple programs with the Advocacy Network. As I mentioned, we fund them as one of our Trust Academy partners. So their role is to really work and provide technical assistance and professional development to any of our youth development programs. So to ensure that they're being inclusive, or to provide extra support, extra materials, maybe a one-on-one in some situations to ensure that our programs are inclusive. And then they also have a program, a family and neighborhood support program that works with families that are, have children with significant needs, or maybe an adult with significant needs, or multiple children with significant needs. And so that program is really more of a deep end program for families. So they do an eligibility screening, and then they really assess the needs and strengths of the family and of the individuals in that family, and provide care coordination. So they're really helping the families to connect
Okay.
to the resources.
Yeah.
So it's one thing to be given a piece of paper or a list of referrals.
Yes.
It's another thing to guide the family through the process, to call maybe some of the service providers on behalf of the family, maybe while you're sitting with them, and ensure a warm handoff and ensure that the families are really getting to the services that our providers are recommending. And so that program is also run by the Advocacy Network, and they work with the families over time
Okay.
until the family is stabilized. So the goal is really to ensure that all members of the family have the supports they need and the family is stable.
But that's incredible, because a lot of times I see the families, like you said, they receive the paper with all the information on it, but then making the step to actually take the action, call the numbers, reach out. Some families, they just don't know what to say and everything. So that's awesome that you walk them through the whole process. Pretty much, they hand them off, like you said. That's incredible.
Yeah, and sometimes families feel nervous, or there's barriers, right,
Yeah.
that we didn't think of. So our job in those programs, what we want to see is to eliminate barriers, right? We don't want a child or a family to go unserved because they don't have transportation. So that program would be able to provide a bus pass or a train pass, or however they could support to ensure that the family's actually receiving the services.
That's incredible. Yeah, language barrier, transportation barrier. There's a lot of barriers out there. So you guys pretty much walk them through, which is a big help. And a lot of times they're just nervous, embarrassed a little bit. So that's good that they have that support from you guys to help them through it.
Yeah.
This is incredible. So the story I get all the time, the narrative the parents always tell me, like they feel so alone. They don't know where to go. They don't know which direction to turn into. So if you have a family with a child with special needs, they need assistance, they need help, like, what would you say would be the first step in their journey? Like, how would you basically take them and hold their hand and, all right, here we go, we're going on the path. Like, what would you recommend?
So I would first recommend starting with the 211 helpline that's funded by the Children's Trust. There are trained operators there that are privy to all of the resources in Miami-Dade County. So obviously all of the Children's Trust resources, but other resources that might not be funded by the Children's Trust, that could be funded by the county or other organizations. We had close to 50,000 callers call 211 last year.
Incredible.
And it's well received. I would say like 211 is the first place to start. I mentioned the Advocacy Network.
Yes.
We also fund an organization called Parent to Parent, which supports families that live with children with disabilities. And so, but 211 again would be able to help connect families to those organizations. They would also connect families to our family and neighborhood support program that I just mentioned for families living with children that have special needs. We also have a parent club. This is sort of a homegrown initiative, if you will.
Oh, really?
And our parent club providers are in the community, and they're providing short-term parenting workshops. So these are for families that might not want to engage in like a 12-week or 16-week parenting course. That's a little bit more of a commitment, but these parent club activities have these parenting activities have specific topics.
Okay.
And so there are some, sessions that focus on children with disabilities, supporting children with special needs, and so those kinds of things are great for parents to get involved in because they can find community there. They can find parents that are struggling or engaging in the same types of questions that they have, and just
other
find support.
Parents that just get it, they get it. This is all amazing. So what about like the babies, the younger ones? What kind of resources helps support for the parents you have for them?
Okay, so the babies are my passion as I work with the Early Childhood Initiative. So we have two great programs in that space. We partner with UM CARD and NOVA to fund very comprehensive, specialized evaluations for children that may be on the autism spectrum.
Okay.
These evaluations come through either Early Steps or Miami-Dade County Public School Fiddlers, and so for families that aren't able to afford the evaluations, we fully pay for the evaluations.
It's incredible.
Both in English and Spanish. And in turn, the evaluations are shared with the public school system to then ensure that the children are getting the services that they need. So our board was very intentional about setting this program up in this way so that we're not just like paying for an evaluation, but we're paying for the whole system to work,
Yeah.
right? We're paying for the evaluation, but ultimately we want to ensure that the child's receiving any follow-up services
Yeah.
that they may need, or make it into the right classroom that's appropriate for them. This is for children birth to 5. So
Okay.
I would say the majority of the children are like 2.5 to
2.5, yeah, 3-ish is when people start making.
Exactly,
Yeah,
and we
the
want
moves.
to, we wholeheartedly believe at the Children's Trust in early intervention and the value of early intervention, and so we want to ensure that children get the services that they need as soon as they're identified. We also fund one other program called Early Discovery in partnership with University of Miami Mailman Center, and
Okay.
this is a program for children that have developmental delays, but they aren't, I'm going to say, delayed enough to receive Part B or Part C early intervention services. So
Okay.
they have developmental delays, but they're not meeting the criteria. And so we fund short-term early intervention. So that looks like 12 to 16 sessions of speech therapy, occupational therapy, physical therapy, behavioral therapy, whatever the child's evaluations are indicating, as well as, again, care coordination for the families to ensure that they're getting the services, that they're learning the techniques so that they can also support their children at home
Yeah.
when the therapy's over.
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah.
All right, so we got it. So first step, parents to make contact 211. Are there any other routes you would suggest for parents to make contact with the trust?
Our website is available at www.thechildrenstrust.org, and on our website we have a Find a Program feature where parents can go in and search by initiative, by zip code, by geography, and find any of our trust-funded programs that are available to them. Contact information for each of the programs is available there.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
All right, so we have all these programs you mentioned, amazing stuff. I have to ask you about the book club. I see it everywhere. Tell me about the Children's Trust Book Club.
So the book club is one of our signature initiatives, launched in 2015. A few years ago, we expanded the book club to include children birth up to 4.5 years old. So
Okay.
essentially, children can receive a free book every month. And the books, it's not just that they're receiving a book, they're receiving materials along with the book. So the parent is able to interact with their child. Maybe depending on the parent's literacy level, it's fine because the activities are there. The books are hand selected in English or Spanish if the family selects Spanish books. And the idea is just for parents to share time with their child around a book and encourage love of reading and literacy skills. Obviously, 3-month-old babies or 6-month-old babies are not reading, but it's important to just have the conversations and carve out the routine of spending time and sharing a book with children. The registration's open. We have about 40,000 children enrolled in the big club, but we're actively seeking all children in Miami-Dade County to enroll in our book club.
Just reading a book, parents have no idea the importance and the significant impact it has just reading a book to your child. Like it's a big deal. Like in our program, kids crave it. They come to us with a book and they just want to sit down and read the book. Like I said, even if they can't read the book, they just want to look at the picture and the act of being read to. There's something very calming about it, and we all love it. That's such an incredible program. Like I'm a big fan of it. And when I first found out about it, I was like, this is amazing. Like I wanted to sign myself up for it. If myself or another family wants to sign up for the book club, what would you see the best way to sign up for the book club?
Visit the Children's Trust website again, the Children's Trust /book club, and the registration's available there.
And be clear, this is at no cost to the families.
No cost. Free books arrive in the mail to your home, and we see constantly videos that parents are sharing with us that the kids come to recognize the envelopes that
Uh-huh.
the books are coming in, and they get so excited to see their books coming in the mail.
So a book comes in the mail, they read it, and then when they're done, they keep it or they send it back.
No, they keep the book. The other idea of the program is to grow home libraries.
Wow,
So you keep the books, you keep the activities, and we want every child to have a library at home.
That's incredible. Incredible program, incredible resource. Parents, sign up. Thank you so much. This has been an incredible resource, all this knowledge for the families. Who do you have to say thank you to make all this happen?
Thank you. I would really like to thank our president and CEO, Mr. Hodge, for his exceptional leadership for the team here at the Children's Trust, and of course our 33-member volunteer board of directors who are the ones that make the funding possible and really support all the programming and initiatives that we're able to fund.
Oh, very cool. All right, incredible. So once again, for the parents, what's the website for the Children's Trust?
www.thechildrenstrust.org.
.org, 211, reach out. Thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for meeting with us and giving all this information for the parents. And thank you.
Thank you so much.